Hey, what's up, everybody? And welcome to Saturday night live stream. The Saturday night live stream pop-up edition. This was sort of a random decision today to jump on here. I saw that Chris Hot Buttery Rolls was not going to be live tonight, so I thought, what the heck? I was thinking about jumping on tomorrow on Sunday, but I've got somewhere to be tomorrow night, and if I do a midday live like I do sometimes on Sundays, I thought, I don't want to be tanked when when I have somewhere to be that night. So it worked out perfectly to jump on today, and I don't really have like a huge game plan. I want to do a giveaway today. I think that would be awesome, and I want to bring some people on the stream and just do a hang. I think it's going to be more fun that way. I love it when we can, bring on other channels or bring on people in the live chat just to hang out and have a good time. That's what this is all about, and it's a great weekend to do that. Memorial Day weekend, everybody's going to be out and about, doing cookouts. Hopefully, if the weather's nice in your area, it's kind of cold here today. Doing cookouts and seeing family, and so it just feels kind of like a communal weekend. And obviously, the message of this weekend is a great one, and a sad one as well. But honoring those who gave the greatest sacrifice. So happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody is having a good start to their weekend on this Saturday night. Hope you're seeing some family and everything like that. Let me get into the chat here. Kick the stream off a little bit, and then Eric Waite, I know you wanted the link. I know Will Henderson thought you might jump on. You thought you might jump on as well. And anybody else, we'll see what goes on here. So I'll drop the link in just a second, in a couple of minutes here. But let me get into the chat. Let me say hello to some people. Give you guys a little update, reminisce on Thursday night's live stream, and then we'll get going. So, anyways, if you guys are sipping on anything, let me know what you're sipping on. I just recorded and released, like within the same 30 minutes, my Russell's Reserve 2003 Quick Sip review. So that came out about an hour and a half ago or something like that. And so I just finished up tasting that. And then right here, I have the remains of Maker's FAE01. So FAE01 is the new wood finishing release. I'm a little bit late to the game picking this one up, but I wanted to do a review of that. And so I tasted it tonight. I've got my notes together. And as soon as this video, or this live stream is done rather, I'm going to shoot that video and I'm going to release that tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern as a video premiere. So tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern, FAE01 will be out. So, all right. What's up, Hendo? So you might jump on. I'll get you that link. Keith, will this be a 5-hour stream? I saw that earlier. Absolutely not. We'll be done here by 10 p.m. because I think Cheech is live at 10 p.m. So 90 minutes tops. All right. And I don't know if we have any wrenches in the house right now. I do want to do a giveaway tonight. And so if we have a wrench in the house, or if somebody could keep track of names for the giveaway and wants to be wrenched who is not a wrench in here, please let me know. I can keep track on my end. It just gets a little bit annoying and tedious as I'm doing the stream and trying to manage things. But there will be a giveaway as long as we can get a wrench, hopefully, to keep track of things. So let me know in the chat. I'll get updated on the chat here in a second. I'm just going to start from the top here. Where was that? Yep, Eric Waite. I saw you right here. I'll get you that link, like I said. DC, I never wear pants on Zoom calls, ever. The only time I wear pants is on live streams. I try to be more civilized for the bourbon community. Somebody did say whiskey. Heck yes. Good evening to Whiskey Nose, to Sugar Kitty. Yeah, Lone Wanderer, I don't know. YouTube's been having some issues lately, and I don't know if other channels are experiencing this right now. But, okay. I don't know if other channels are experiencing this, but YouTube's had a shitload of issues for me recently. Like, it's getting ridiculous. I know the Bourbon Junkies were having issues maybe a week or two ago on their live stream. My analytics are jacked up. Like, analytics for certain days just disappeared. So, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. Cheers to you, Jeff, and Jeffrey Wack. Good to see you guys. And Bev Porter. Hey, how's it going? Guys, Matt's stream last night. I never really get to tune in for all of a Matt Madness competition, or really any of an entire stream. I'm on streams for 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops. And Sarah and I laid in bed last night and watched the entire Matt Madness front to back. And it was a great show. That was a lot of fun. So, 108 on Monday. Oh my goodness. Oh, my chat just jumped a lot. What's up, Big Vic? Rick, Roy are in the house. Jake, working to get ahead for next week, but have some Russell's Reserve Rye. That's a pour I've never had, so that's interesting. I just picked up, speaking of which I might taste this tonight just for kicks. I've never had 101 Rye. And it was weirdly sold out for a while at my local stores here. So I just picked up one of these, and I'm excited to try that. Okay, Daniel is about to pour a 1792 bottled and bond pick. I have a video for 1792 bottled and bond coming out this coming Friday. Just an FYI. Lone Wanderer drinking Bull Run American Single Malt. Cognac finished 7 years. I bet that's, at cast strength. I bet that's pretty freaking good. Jeff has a Knob Creek pick. Oh, I've never owned any Old Carter, and I've only ever tried one thing from Old Carter, so I bet that's going to be amazing. Since B521 got mixed reviews, B519, I was drinking that last night, and A119, absolutely killer. Okay, we also have some whack analytics, so okay, getting data errors makes sense. Drinking ETL, my palate's changed, and I like the lower proofs. Nice, man. Yeah, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, the Russell's 03 surprised me. I thought I wasn't really going to be so hot on it, and I tell you what, that was a really good pour. Grease won last night. Freaking Grease won. And I don't know. I mean, I just had this feeling when the stream started. I looked at Sarah, I said, I bet you Grease is going to win. And he won. The FAE is really tasty. Bev, honestly, Grease wasn't as bad last night. I thought it was a pretty darn good stream front to back. I mean, the whole thing was just amazing. Okay, yeah. I mean, look, I'm actually going to try B521 here in a second. I want to do a quick little retaste before we bring people on. That was like my one goal of the stream, is to try B521 again, because people are at each other's throats about this release, and I think it's a little bit hilarious. People get so offended over bourbon. Rob's supposed to be at the lake. Yeah, it's super cold right now. Let's see. I'd say that Knob Rye, but that's just me. Grease slipped by. I don't know. Grease daggum did pretty good, as he would say. Okay, I think we're all caught up here. Jeffrey Wack, my cousin bought me a Russell's 03, found it at Kroger. Excited to try it, blinded against the original Master's Keep. Sounds very similar. Yeah, so I was talking to Keith about this in the comments of the video. Keith Schmidt's in the chat right now, I believe. And we were talking about the 17-year versus the Russell's 03. Now, I want to do a video of the 17-year. I kind of want to do a video by itself. The bottle has a little significance to me because I used that box from that bottle to propose to Sarah back in December. You know, it kind of worked out as a little prop in the proposal that I did, which was great. So that bottle has a special place in my heart, and I want to just do its own review, you know, of the 17-year. So I'll figure that out. But I want to put out a video of the 03, Russell's 03 versus the Wild Turkey 17. I think that would be a pretty awesome comparison. And to try to compare it based on one, like, objective drinking experience, which is tough, you know, and then also a subjective comparison in terms of taste, flavor profile, and how it agrees with me. So that's kind of the plan. What's up, Guy? Good to see you, man. Cheers. Thanks for jumping in here. I'm going to finish off this Maker's FAE. Give me one sec. You know, Barry, that's true. This is the thing, though. I don't know that people are freaking out over the proof. Like, I'm not flipped out over the proof, and Trev Wilson and Jason and even Fred Minnick, I don't think anybody knocked the proof. I think we were all like, hey, if this works at this proof, I'm all about it. And then it was just the drinking experience front to back. And having so many people say the same thing for me is a little bit reassuring in the fact that, like, we all must have some sort of objective opinion about, or objective evaluation, not opinion. We must all have some sort of objective evaluation about the bottle. And the fact that we're all aligned feels good. Now, someone that comes along and says, I don't like the lower proof, or the flavor profile isn't for me, some subjective crap like that would be a different story. But I think I mean, look, if everybody's saying the same thing, it feels like it might be not as great, but I don't know. Oh, nice one, Rick. Good pickup, man. Yeah, I don't have the original. I only have the Masters. I only have the bottled and bond Keith. I actually have half a bottle left, so I can do that comparison. I haven't seen anything about B521. I haven't even seen the proof yet, but that might be out. I'm not entirely sure. Nice one, guy. That's a good blend, man. That's a good blend. Carl, what's up, man? I'm going to pour some B521 now, do a quick re-review, just real quick, and then I'm going to send that link out to some folks. Or post it in the chat or what, whatever the best move is here. Hey, I need to follow up on this. Does anybody in the chat, any wrenches in the chat? I see Adriana's in here and I see DC. Is there anybody that could keep track of super chats from now for about the next hour? The next hour? Let me know. Otherwise, I don't want to do a giveaway. I don't want to really be stressing about it myself. Or if anybody in the chat would be up for being wrenched tonight to help me out with that, that would be incredible. Just let me know, please. Carl did a blind flight of Oban, Glenfiddich, and Dalwhinnie. Yeah, those are all great calls. I think I would be between... I'd probably end up picking Oban out of that flight because that little hint of peat adds a little extra excitement. And it'd be a tough call between Fiddick and Dalwhinnie 15. That's tough. I love them both. Fiddick was like my go-to pour for a long time, but Dalwhinnie, that heather honey thing, I love it. Okay, guys. Let's see. Let's get a little B521 in the glass. So last night when I was watching Matt Madness... Ooh, lost the autofocus. Come on. There we go. When I was watching Matt Madness last night, Sarah and I went through a couple different Elijah Craig barrel proofs. We started with B519, then went to A119, then C919. So we did a bunch of the 2019s. And then we went to B521, and she was not about it, and I was also still not about it. But that was in comparison to the others. So I want to try it right now. No comparison to other batches. Okay, yeah. Shocked to hear about the proof and the reviews. Yeah, I know. It's definitely weird. What's up, Young Pei Chang? How's it going, man? Good to see you. Okay. Oh, Adriana can keep track of super chats. That's awesome. Thank you, Adriana. We'll see if anybody's even interested in the giveaway, but I'm not going to announce it until we're all good to go on those. Ryan's going to drink some B521 as well. Okay, cool. So let's check this out real quick, and then we'll bring some people onto the stream. Yeah, it's getting sweeter. When I first cracked this, it seemed really dry, really woody. I'm still getting a lot of that. Sawdust, dry wood, hint of cherry in the background. A lot of char. I'm getting a lot of barrel char. I think that was a note I called on it in my review. But it has gotten sweeter. Definitely sweeter, which is nice. I mean, that's a good improvement. And I'll be real with you. I think the nose on this B521 is not bad. I actually really like the nose, and you can stick your nose all the way down in the glass because of the proof and be okay. And so that's a great quality of it. What's up, Aiden? And you got to head out. All right, man. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Thanks for jumping in. Yeah, and then a little bit of peanuts in the background of this too. The peanut note in here is getting a little sharper as the bottle's opening up for me. Little sharp. That first sip. Oh, there it went. It's right there. I don't know what that was, 5 or 6 seconds after I took the sip. It feels like it was going to go somewhere, and it was like the flavors were working. Everything was great. It got toasty. It got nice and oaky. There's a little bit of chocolate and peanut butter in there. Really nice caramels. And then it just disappears. It just goes away on the palate. Come back to the nose. All the oak is there now. And again, like after the first sip, we get some chocolate on the palate, or on the nose rather, which is great. Yeah, I didn't get the chocolate in my review, I don't think. It's more like a dark chocolate. Really playing well with the barrel char notes and the oak. Thanks, Hendo. Yeah, please hit that like button on the video, guys. Let's get some more people in here as the night goes on. All right, Adriana's got the laptop out. Okay, guys, real quick, giveaway tonight. We'll see. I've got a couple bottles I could give away. Let's go with one up front here that I know some people have been looking for and haven't been able to find. I managed to grab an extra when I was in Iowa, and I wanted to give it away on a stream. So it's the Chattanooga Port Cask Finish. Okay, so I found some of these in Iowa of all places. Didn't expect that, at a really reasonable price. So let's get the party started right now with some super chats if you guys are into winning a little Chattanooga Port Cask. And if we start getting quite a few super chats, I can throw in another bottle for tonight's giveaway too. A little MGP action. So again, Chatty Port Finish. And I'll throw a few samples, of course, with the bottles as well. I've got a lot of store picks, guys. I've been on a whiskey buying spree, and so I have store picks out the wazoo, and I want people to try them because a lot of these are so good. This is a great question. Young Pei Chang asks, I think the better question is 521 doesn't fit into the barrel proof lineup. Where would it go, considering how much stock they needed for it? Maybe a flood of high proof store picks. Yeah, exactly. I mean, unfortunately, even if this was... Oh, I think Siri just yelled in my ear. I don't know where my phone is. Sorry. I didn't realize I was connected to my phone and not my computer with my earbuds. That's hilarious. Come on, autofocus. Yeah, I think even if it was called, let's say, Elijah Craig 110, and they proofed it down to 110, and this was the batch, it still wouldn't be okay that the drinking experience is the way it is. It just falls off the back of the palate. But I can totally see why somebody would like this if they want something that's easygoing, if they're not overly critical of it. Yeah, you're probably going to enjoy this pour. But I don't know where it goes. I'll be honest. What's up, Keith? Coming in with the $5 super chat. Has anyone seen Russell's 13? I've been wondering this myself. Will be interesting to see what it compares to flavor-wise from Wild Turkey. Yeah, that is one that I really want to get my hands on. I heard Indiana got it today. Some places in Indiana, and I know Virginia's already had it. So I'm thinking, Guy Davis, if you're still in here, I was thinking a little trip to Central Indiana might not be a bad call. Awesome. Let's get this party started, says Jeffrey Wack. Favorite pour of 2021 thus far? Oh, let me think about that. Let me turn around and look. You know, I think it could be the Calumet 15. Yeah, as I'm looking around, all my like recent purchases are like on the edges of my shelves around me, so I can kind of see them all. I've got to say, Calumet 15 is probably my favorite pour so far. I mean, look, a lot of people hate on the Barton sourced stuff. $130, it's a 15-year-old bourbon. I don't know how anybody can complain about that price to age ratio. The proof went up, the flavors got better. I think it's probably that. And I'll be real with you guys. I hate most things Maker's Mark. This is some good stuff. Again, like I said, review's out tomorrow, but FAE01 is a banger. Will Henderson is in for the port finish. Still have plenty left in the bottle if you want to compare 03 to 17, by the way. I still have 2 ounces of the sample, so I appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. And I don't want to take more of your bourbon, holy smokes, but I have 2 ounces left, so that comparison, that'll be good. Good to go. I've got enough. I've tasted this a couple times, but never critically. Haven't sat down and taken notes. When I did taste it, I thought it was a really, really great pour. I didn't think it was worth the hype, but I could be crazy. Please don't take that as law from me. I just need to sit down with it more. I'm going to be releasing a quick sip of that. I have my schedule in front of me on Tuesday. Okay. So on Tuesday, I'm releasing my single barrel proof rye from Jack Daniels, and I'm going to compare it to the bourbon at the end of that video. That is the plan. ADHD Whiskey, I missed your super chat, man. Thank you for jumping in. Cam, happy Saturday, you tap dancing son of a bee. I heard you say that last night on your stream. Sarah was cracking up. That's awesome. Austin says B521 still a nice sipper for me when you compare it to other ECBP. It doesn't hold up, but oh well. Yeah. Yeah, I think it might grow on me a little bit as I kind of get used to the profile, but it's still, my mind won't be changed that it doesn't belong under that label. Oh, Colorado got it too. Damn, I need to get this. I want to get Sam Houston 15. I'm on the secondary market. Like, I need that Sam Houston 15 to get a review out first, and I can't get anyone to sell me one. I'm here, had to wash a few dishes. What got to Indiana? Whiskey in the desert. Guy, I was talking about the Russell's Reserve 13, the new one with the royal blue label. Sherry G, what's up? Cheers, count me in. Thank you. Again, giveaway tonight, every $5 super chat. Chatty port cask finish, which universally is pretty well liked. Interesting. Yeah, so the Augusta Buckners, I just bought a backup bottle. I don't care that it's $200. I think it's really, really good. And look, people are paying on the secondary market $500 for Blue Run's 13.5-year single barrels. $500, and that's the exact same stuff as the Buckners. And it's sitting on shelves in Ohio at $200. I can't understand people, you know? It's hilarious. Cheers to you, Dave, man. What's up? Good to see you. Thanks for the super chat. Dave is in for one. And thank you, Adriana, again for keeping track of the super chats. I seriously appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to get the link sent out, y'all. And then if some people want to jump on here, please feel free. Do you have time or inclination for a Scotch whiskey? Are you talking about tonight, James? Also, what's up, James? Are you talking about tonight or just in general? Because more Scotch content is going to be coming out in June. I'm going to be doing Scotch Sundays. So I'm going to try to get a Scotch video out, if not every week, every other week on Sundays. That's the goal moving forward. Heck yeah. I love Knob Creek. Anything Knob Creek. Got 51 in the chat. That's awesome. The number's growing. Please hit the like button. Let's get some more people in here. Let me grab the StreamYard link now. Gotta see if I can find it. Okay, guys. All right. I'm dropping this in the chat. This should work. If there's any issues with it, please let me know. So I'm going to pin this to the top. Let's just make sure that worked. And let's see, did it work? There we go. The StreamYard link is at the top. I see Eric Waite's already jumping in here. Let me connect my headphones before I bring him in, so I can hear him. All right. Speakers. I've got 2 AirPods in here. Great. Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing, man? I was just about to bring up another window for the chat, so you caught me diddling, and now I need to make another adjustment. For example, for some strange reason, my camera just took a jump as well.
Really?
It went widescreen. It was narrow, and then it just went wide. So I don't know what's up with that. Technical difficulties.
It is all good, man. It's all good. I'm getting a little echo on your end.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. It's always something, man.
It's all good, man.
What?
Well, is it now?
How about now?
Testing. I'm still getting
all right?
Still getting an echo. Maybe headphones. I don't know if you have headphones with you.
Son of a gun. Hold on. I need to realign my Heisenberg compensators and adjust my APS conduits. How about now?
Check.
Are you all right
Still
now?
kind of. I'm still getting it a little bit.
Maybe it's on your end.
I've got my echo cancellation on. I'm coming through headphones, so it's isolated. Let's see.
I don't think it's me.
I'm mute.
You muted yourself? Okay. Yeah, I think that's why I always try to use headphones for a lot of this stuff. What was Keith saying? I don't think many whiskeys are worth 200. I'd gladly pay that for a cigar blend or an old Carter. Yeah, I mean, I agree, but honestly, man, with the Blue Run being the way it is and all this other source Barton, Augusta at 200 is not looking so bad. What's up, Hendo? How's it going, man?
What's up? You like that?
Oh, you're wearing the Blue Devil shirt. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I don't think I responded when you sent me that message. I apologize, but I was showing Sarah that you sent it to me, and I was like, she's like, why does he have a Blue Devil shirt? So it was your sister, man. You said.
Yeah, my
that
sister
marched
was
in
like,
Spirit.
Yeah, she did Spirit, and then she helped with like a junior corps, and then she was in the Corvettes, like the senior corps deal. So
yeah,
she was a band
That's
director
awesome.
in the whole deal. So
okay. Scott Tyson says, in for the Chattanooga. We'll try and get you something good next weekend. Ooh, got that echo.
So you get the echo, son of a bitch.
So Cam, here's my 2 cents on the freaking B521.
Okay.
It's 118.2 proof Heaven Hill bib.
Yeah.
I mean, it drinks just like that. It's like dust. It's got that dusty kind of corn note. It's got that little nutty.
Mm-hmm.
It's got age on it, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's drinks like a freaking 100 proof whiskey.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's a good comparison. I mean, maybe even proofing it down to 100 and trying to put it next to the bottled and bond. I don't know. But to me, it feels more like the old bottled and bond, the 6-year.
Yeah, but it's still got that. To me, it's got a really like nutty note. I don't know.
How are we doing now for echo?
Check.
Is it good?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. Cool, man. And nobody else is in here. Okay, good. I want to make sure. So, all right, guys. Well, this is great. So Eric, have you? I know you're doing a bunch of Scotch stuff, obviously, but have you tried it? Have you tried this new Elijah Craig by chance? Have you had an opportunity to try it?
No, the only one I have the C from 2019, the C917. This one.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Which I really, really like. I tend to experience something and then move on to something else.
Yeah.
I don't have, other than Ardbeg, I don't stack bottles and bottles of the same bottle year after year after year after year after year. There's an entire world of whiskey to explore, and so I'm always moving on to the next best thing. So there's very few producers that I get everything. Balcones, I'll get everything. Ardbeg, I'll get everything. Bunhaven, I'll get everything. Everything else, okay, I tried them, move on. Going on to the next one. There's just too many whiskeys out there. So I understand seeing that, and then tastings and stuff. But in terms of buying more and more bottles, my biggest issue is not the money. It's I don't have a place to put them. I'm running out of shelf space.
That's funny.
My wife would totally agree with you, man. It's bad.
Let me catch a couple super chats real quick, guys. The Lone Wanderer says FAE01 is good. Still prefer the SE4 PR5. So I have samples of the other 2 wood finishing releases that I'm going to put in that video that comes out tomorrow. So that's going to be, I haven't tried them yet. So Amy Bohm sent those. And so thank you, Amy, for that. And Ryan Robertson says, did a tour and tasting at Chatty last weekend. Cool people in place. Yeah, it's great. I mean, you have to like the profile though, that grain forward thing. So guys, remember for every $5 super chat giveaway for the Chatty port cask finish.
Yeah, it doesn't blind very well, turns out.
Really?
I've done a bunch of blinds with it, you know me. But it's a very different profile. It's very good, but when you put it up against other stuff, it tastes kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it's really good. Like I really enjoy the rye. I really enjoy the port. I really enjoy, the 111. I live like an hour from Chattanooga, so I get a lot of that stuff here. But but it's very different if you're not used to that high malt profile.
Yeah, it's weird because it's high malt, but it doesn't remind me of a Scotch at all. Even though it is high malt, it's got its own distinct thing. I mean, it's like a perfect dessert whiskey, I think. But I don't find myself going like, I really want to drink that all night. Like that's not what it is.
No. But it's a port cask, right?
Yeah.
So both PX and port tend to. It's very very easy for them to dominate and sort of
Oh
take
yeah.
over. Or some port casts, they can seem like they just took whiskey and then poured port into it. I mean, it's such a dominating character.
Mm-hmm.
So how is it that one? I mean, is it just like a lightly sort of berry fruit character of port, or is it really a heavy, port influence?
Let me pour a
If I
little bit
remember right,
from.
it's pretty heavy.
It's heavy. Yeah. It's.
Yeah.
See, that's what I
The,
want. I'll just buy a bottle. I just take a bottle of port and pour it into my whiskey. If that's what you're
I
going
mean,
for.
this is also like a 2-year-old whiskey too. So I mean, they're you know
So,
what I mean.
so they can do that. I mean, that's common to do finishing, and really what
Mhm.
they're doing is they're covering things up. They're covering up the youth. They're putting, hey, you got a young. They do this in wine too. You got inferior grapes, inferior whatever. Hey, just throw an oak bomb, put a massive amount of oak on it.
Yes.
You make it a vanilla bomb, and people will drink it. And you can do the same thing with whiskeys. Super youthful. You don't want to cover up those green notes of the White Dog or the New Make. Like, bam, just slap some PX on it, slap some port on it, and cover that baby up. Yeah,
You know.
and it's to me they come across real obvious
Mhm.
as to what they're doing, and I'm just like, meh, I'm not real big on it.
Well, even like I got a Pfeiffer Pavitt over there. I mean, that's pretty heavy. Pretty,
Oh yeah.
Bardstown lays some dang, you know, finishes on people, right? So when they finish
Yeah.
something, they throw it at you. So even even with stuff that's not necessarily that young, a lot of times, um, they just use wet barrels and the whole deal, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. I mean, it tastes like there was port. There was a port still in the barrel when when this was finished. I mean,
yeah,
Right.
but the thing is, I actually like. So here's the deal. I mean, with Scotch, this becomes pretty obvious. I feel like when it's really young whiskey finished, and with certain other bourbons as well, like a lot of the young MGP stuff, when it gets finished and it's 4 years old or barely 4 years, you can see right through that usually. But Chattanooga, being a young distillery, I won't fault them for finishing young whiskey. But
Right.
then also it it stands up night, like it helps this that it's young because it can stand up to the finish. I think if this was an older whiskey, it would be even more of a port bomb. So
well, and their whole like way of building their mash bills is really interesting because the master distiller was a master brewer at or a head brewer at Sam Adams, that whole deal. So they use
yeah.
specialty grains just like you would with beer. So it's really interesting the way they build their mash bills. So
Hmm.
you get a lot more influence of the grain, obviously high malt, but you get a lot more influence of the grain than you would normally.
Right. Well, I
Right.
mean, you can like what you like. If you like, if you like a big smack of port or big smack of PX, that's fine.
Right.
This is one from a distillery in the Napa Valley. They call it SOB, Son of a Bourbon, and it is exactly what I just described. It's a bourbon with just a boatload of port on it, and if you like it, you like it subjectively. I don't really care, but I kind of like um, to where either whatever the base is doesn't completely cover up the finishing. The finishing doesn't completely cover up the base, but there's a real nice harmony between the two, and you get some nice balance in there and complexity to it. Rather than, hey, I get a bourbon up front and then I'm swallowing a blueberry pie on the end of it. I like something a little bit more than not that it's bad. It's just for
Yeah.
me, it's just like something a little bit more complex and really where something that harmonizes and brought in together. It's
Mhm.
music. Someone I don't like music just goes boom, 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 or something like that,
So you don't
or
like
just,
Herman Zimmer at all.
I like.
So you hated the concert on Thursday night, man.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No. I just like something more in there. I like a little more elegance. I like something a little more finesse, something a little bit more intriguing than just a 3-chord song. Not that there's anything wrong with AC/DC or whatever, but you can play those 3 chords really, really, really well.
Yeah.
I
Hendo,
like
what do you got there?
more layers in there.
So this is like Eric was talking about. Like you can
Yeah.
just freaking bomb a dang bourbon with with a wine finish, right?
Hmm.
But what's really cool is, so like this is King's Family Distilling out of Sevierville, Tennessee, just outside of Knoxville. It's MGP. This is their rye conic, and
Hmm.
it is double barreled MGP rye. It's phenomenal. So when you
Okay.
can do a double barrel on something, I almost feel like that's even, it's even better because you're just getting pure oak,
Hmm.
influence instead of just throwing a grape at it or whatever.
Well, here's
um,
something that's interesting. I mean, well, first off, 13 and 18 Shelby's talking about this new experimental release from Chattanooga, which I'm gonna have to snag this. Just reading about it,
yeah,
it says it's
yeah,
made
they
from
just
2 grains. But it looks like maybe both of them are barley. Age of
European
bourbon, it
oak.
says though. But yeah, European oak, tasting notes, honey, chamomile, cut hay, peach tea, granola. That sounds interesting. I mean, but speaking of double barreling, I have like a million Starlight picks sitting here behind me.
Hmm.
Um, I have 5 of them now, and I have, I think, at least 4 more bottles in the mail from different people and different stuff. I am so hot on Starlight right now, and everything they're putting out is 4 or 5 years old.
Right.
And the regular bourbons, even if it's a good single barrel, is just okay. But anything that has a second finish, whether it's oak, like new American oak, or cognac, or what else do I have? Geez, maple
This is
syrup, honey,
this one's
like
5 years old at cast strength,
yeah.
and it's ridiculous.
It's like some distilleries. Starlight's profile just needs a second barrel. It doesn't matter what kind of barrel it is. It needs something to smooth it out. And
Right.
I don't know. It's like I won't drink any of their single barreled offerings. Single barreled. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I don't know. Let me see what the chat's got going on here. Doug H, thank you for the super chat, $5. Cheers, everyone. Cheers to you as well. And let's see. Oh, Stuff Whiskey's popping in. And he knows the Ryconic. The King's Ryconic Double
Dude,
Barrel Rye
so
from
good.
San
I've
Diego.
got my brother-in-law lives up in Knoxville. He got me the regular bourbon too. Apparently they do picks of the Ryconic up there, and those are supposed to be
Mm.
ridiculous. I need one of those because they're good.
I think I don't know what would you guys say? I think rye handles finishing the best, like Keith is saying, and I think it's harder to screw that up. I
Yeah.
think bourbon is in the middle, and I think Scotch is really easy to screw up. I feel like Scotch is really delicate with finishing, depending on the age of the Scotch, though.
Well, I feel
Um,
like rye you can do younger, obviously. So a
mhm,
lot of people, like High West, and there's a lot of people like that doing some really cool rye finishes. Even like Rye 3, like those
mhm,
bottles that are coming out. Um, Bourbon's kind of weird. Sometimes it's hit or miss to me. It really depends on what you like, what your flavor profile is. Do you like a rum finish? Do you like a port finish? Do you like sherry? Like that drying note. Just
mhm.
depends on what you like. I'm a big wine guy myself, so I like a lot of the wine finishes.
So, but
Um,
how familiar are you with, say, with port itself? Um, I mean, I think one of the things I'm doing right now in doing these sherry cast finished whiskeys is I'm reviewing sherries along the way. And so, even though I've had sherry before and I'm really familiar with sherry, been a big fan of sherry, I spent enough time away from sherry that I also felt like, hey, I need to spend some more time with sherry to sort of,
right.
renew my palate and recall what I studied years ago and get
Mhm.
back into it. But it also sort of helps me sort of gauge, okay, here's a sherry. I went through a bottle of Tio Pepe Fino. Now I'm doing Fino, cast tomatin, and then it sort of sets the gauges. Okay, see the parallels between the two and what
Mhm.
they're like. So, like ports, I'm a big port fan as well. I
Hmm.
don't necessarily drink them all the time, but I have enough sense of a port that if I pick up a port cast finished bourbon, I can gauge in my head, wow, they're really, really, got the pedal to the metal, going full bore on this port. Maybe they need to back it up a bit, and maybe they're covering something up with that much port
Mhm.
influence on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, uh, dude, I love port, but recently I've been doing the same thing. I've been buying more ports to try to do the same thing because I love port finish whiskey. So I've been trying to figure out, okay, if it's a tawny port, if it's a ruby port, if it's a whatever, you're trying to figure out the different nuances between them and how it would
Mhm.
affect the whiskey.
Yeah.
I have a brewing background. I used to homebrew a
Oh,
lot. So I would look at like, I add this hop, it gives me this flavor, that kind of deal. Or I add this specialty grain, I get this. But it's kind of like making soup, right? So you add this ingredient, you get this in the end, right? So I look at a lot of finishes the same way.
Mhm.
How is this affecting it, and do I like that?
Yeah.
so if you have
Kind of
bottled
crazy.
port, one of the things you could do is just as an experiment, can I duplicate a port finish by
Right.
just taking a couple of drops of port, dropping in, and does it seem the same, or does the way in which that port from the port cast, finishing port cast, has it really intermingled in a way that it doesn't come across as if you just poured some port into it? So I've
Right.
got a couple
Right.
samples from Jeremy over at Sipper Social Club or Stripper Social Club, however you want to call it, in which this is a Lagavulin 8 port finished that he sent me. This is a Springbake 10 port finish. And this is an Octomore. Now, why would you put port in an Octomore? I don't know. That seems like a heresy to me.
Wow. That
Yeah,
that
don't.
sounds intense.
Octomore is fine. Don't port anything anyway. But this got a port finish. This is a Octomore 27.1. And what he does is he seasons his own cask.
Uh-huh.
The little cask. I've thought about doing it as an experiment, and then he puts whatever wine in, he finishes it, and he does a really, really good job on it. But he sent me these to me before, and I said, okay, I'm going to see if I can do what Jeremy does, but without the little cask.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just eyedrop or whatever. And you know what? I don't need a little wooden cask. I can come up with the same profile, basically same profile, but just dropping a little port in it. I don't think that cask is seasoned enough. I don't think it's really putting any that whatever wine he puts into it, the port. I don't think it's really seasoning into the cask, and I don't think the whiskey he then puts into that little cask is really extracting it from the little cask. I just
Right.
think it remains wet, and it's just a middleman going from. You might as well just skip it. Just go ahead and put some freaking port.
It's just a blending vessel, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Right.
Basically, now don't get me wrong. I think he does good blends. I like these. These are really, really good. So, Jeremy, if you're watching, don't stop sending them to me. I enjoy these.
So Cam, what's your favorite type of finished whiskey or bourbon or rye or whatever? What do
I'll
you
tell you
like?
my least favorite for bourbons and ryes is sherry. I would say I like that on Scotch 100% of the time. I don't think
My
it's
opinion
ever.
of you just went so low.
No, I mean, like the Joseph Magnus is great, but it's mostly the cognac. It's
Right.
not a lot of the sherry. The sherry just takes over, I think.
Right.
But with Scotch, I really like sherry. I think with bourbon, I've been really hot on honey finishes right now.
Oh man,
I think it blends
those
so
are
well
so
in
hard
maple
to
syrup.
get.
I know, like this Starlight stuff. I mean, they're putting them out, and it's not like as world class as the Bell Mead, obviously, but I mean, dude, I'll drink it all day. And I think, I don't know, maybe a more common finish that I really like would be, let me see. Oh, apple brandy. Anything apple
Oh
brandy
yeah.
finished typically is good. Let me
I
grab a
mean,
few super chats real quick though. Big Vic, thank you for that. Yeah, got to get a backup of the port finish. Jeff, thank you for tuning into the concert. I appreciate you. Andy Rice, I knew a store in Myrtle Beach, and my buddy Andy's down there, and he went over there and he sent me the allocated list. They had some good stuff. So congrats on the Bell Mead Reserve. That's a really good bottle. Mike, thank you for the super chat. And Cornholio with $10 coming in hot. I appreciate all of you. Thank you. It's tough when we're all hanging out, but I'll get to all your super chats. Thank you, guys.
so
Okay.
what finish in your mind goes best with rye? Would you double barrel it, or would you do like a port?
I might double barrel it. I might just straight up double barrel it, but I've had a really good Sauterne finished rye that Keith Schmidt sent me, and I've had a really good PX finished rye.
So for me, and again, I'm not the biggest expert on rye, But in terms of the way in which flavors approach the palate and come to the palate, I find rye goes straight up the middle, straight up the middle of the palate. Whereas the bigger, rounder fruit notes of a port cask are a little bit more on the round and on the outside. So
Okay.
for me, a rye in a whiskey acts sort of like, I know, a Petit Verdot in a Bordeaux. Petit Verdot gives you this spice note, gives you this floral note, but it's straight up the center of the palate. And for me, rye comes up straight in the middle, or it says hello on the finish. It gives you that big licorice, those herbal notes and stuff like that. But that's just the way it comes across on my palate. Whereas the port finishes are a little more round and more on the outside of my palate. So it's just the way it comes across on my palate more than anything else. I like rye. And one of the most dangerous things I find with rye, get a natural root beer, not like Fanta or that crap, but like real ingredients, and then put some rye in that, and oh my god,
I bet
it's absolutely
Wow.
killer. And then they go together really, 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 really well. So
Sweet
port
and
cask. This
spicy.
is a Balcones Hechiceros.
those are
Only
good.
available in Texas. This is the best port cask I've ever had. Absolutely mind blowing, and it's at 61.5 from out of Texas. Absolutely superb.
Yeah. I tell you what, when I think of rye, to me is the American whiskey version of peat for Scotch in terms of the way that it finishes, because they're such strong profiles.
And the
way
love-hate relationship people have with it as well.
Yeah, it's like it's either you really love it or you don't. And rye can be either dill forward or mint forward or whatever, just as peat can be ash or it can be very
Burning tires,
industrial and medicinal. Yeah, it could be a lot of different things.
iodine.
I think those are, like, in my mind, I always make that comparison, and that's why they both finish so well. I mean, Ardbeg, Ugadale, you really just can't beat that, Let's see. DC says apricot brandy, red wine, and rum for his finishes. Got a Madeira in the house. I don't know if I've ever really seen a lot of Madeira finished American whiskeys.
I've got a few.
Think of any. Okay.
I've got a
So
few.
y'all have probably had Dovetail, right? I mean, Dovetail is probably the most finished whiskey I own.
Yeah.
It has all the finishes.
I got rid of mine because I didn't like it so much, but I kind of wish I would have kept it. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
I love it. It's one of those I sit with, and it's one of those like palate challengers. It's like, what do I taste here? Because there's so much going on. I don't know.
So for me, the ultimate palate profile, I call them the 5 S's: sweet, savory, salty, sherry, and smoky. And if you hit on all 5 of those,
there you go.
I'm in heaven. So basically, you're looking at a peated sherry cask with oceanic influence. Is really what you're looking at. And man, it just rings my bell, man. That hits a lot. But I would say the most ones that have that is going to be Bunnahabhain hits those. The Moyne, if you can get a Bunnahabhain, Moyne is Gaelic for peated. Moyne Oloroso, to me, that's heaven.
I think my palate might be the exact opposite. But that's all right.
That's hilarious. We got another super chat. Wendell Wilson, chilling in my garage with a good cigar and a nice pour. Speaking of chilling with a cigar, Jeffrey Wack jumped in here for a second, and I got him in, and then I think his connection just died. So, Jeffrey, if you're still in here, I apologize, man. Jump back in if you can. I was trying to wrap up our thought and then bring you in, and then the connection didn't.
So, what's the opposite of that, then? What would you call the opposite of that?
Opposite. Oh, sorry.
I like really proofy, older, oaky, sweeter bourbons. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, like the Elijah Craig barrel proof, the usual Elijah Craig barrel proof. Actually, even some of the younger stuff, like my favorite right now has got to be Stag Junior. Stag Junior is just so freaking good, and I love that punch in the face. But it's sweet, it's proofy, it's got a lot of flavor, and it clings to the palate. That's what I
Hmm.
love. I'm not a really big peat guy. I will drink, an Ardbeg or a Lafroy or something, but I'm just not a huge fan, unfortunately.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's the briny note or something. I don't know. I just don't like salted whiskey, I guess. But
What? I mean, you like what you like in your mood and the season and what's the temperature. It's going to be 102 degrees here tomorrow, 108 on Monday.
ooh,
What's better than a high proof bourbon on a nice block of ice on a day like
right,
that? I
yeah,
think a lot of scotches you put them on ice like that, and you're going to lose a lot. You're going to lose too much.
Hmm.
Whereas for me, a high proof bourbon, some of the bourbons I got, you put them on ice block ice, and you're drinking melted vanilla ice cream. Is really what it
right.
turns into. That's I mean, what's better than that? Uh, you know, um, if you like Texas bourbons, some of the Garrison brothers on ice are absolutely spectacular, or the Iron
Hmm.
Root are absolutely spectacular, and they're so big and bold and in your face. They can take that ice and like, not a problem, not a problem. I really like them like that.
I just got a sample of that, Eric, when we were talking, the Harbinger. I just got a sample
Oh,
from, I think JG sent it to me. Jay, I don't know if you're in the chat, but I've tasted a little bit off the top. And he also sent me a Balcones, I think just the regular, maybe Texas single malt. I
okay,
trying to think. And I did not like the Balcones off of my first sip,
okay.
but I think I've had some of their better, more expensive
If the
bottles.
baby blue, if it's the baby blue, then I'm like, no, 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 no,
Yeah.
no, baby blue, no, no, no.
Yeah, but I like some of their other stuff, and the Froke was maybe one of my favorite pours I've ever had of
Yeah.
any whiskey. It was incredible. So, David Rose is coming in. Cam, have you tried the Decadent sample? I've tasted a little bit of it. I need to review that sample on a quick sip episode. Um, I liked it from what I remember, but I could also taste the Dickel blended in there just a little bit, if I can recall. AM65 loves the tribe shirt that Eric's wearing. That's nice.
It's funny. I'll get more thumbs down if I wear the shirt in a live stream on my channel.
I'm sure. They're divisive, you know.
Well,
That's
or they're just people are just haters, or they,
I
they
know.
don't have the best first. I didn't like them at first,
No, look,
and they know that. I told them that, and I'm buddies with those guys, and I was like, "Who are these jackasses?" God, what a bunch of goofballs. I'm like, how you can be taken seriously? I'm like, And then once you meet them, you're like, wow, these dudes are freaking awesome. This is an awesome place. I like what they do. Their goofballery is more, it's not my particular thing, It's a little over
yeah.
the top. But by the way, so next Saturday, Daniel's actually going to be on my channel. Daniel
Mhm.
Whittington's going to be on. We're going to talk about uh, the craft of whiskey versus the business of whiskey. So he's
Oh,
actually
that's
going to come on
interesting.
next Saturday. So I'm good friends with this guy and stuff like that. But yeah, the first impression, it's kind of like a neck pour of a bottle. There's some whiskeys, Lafroig 10. The first time at Lafroig 10, I was like, what the hell? But then you get past your shoulders, like, oh, wow, there's more to it than on the neck pour. I think those
Yeah.
guys are the same way. And the
All right,
fact that
Eric.
and even like I'm over in Scotland, people over there are like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But anyhow, so what's that?
Balcones Rumble.
Oh, damn.
What is
I
that?
got a
Is that
sample of this one. I don't know what it is. It's 47% ABV. I don't know.
that's hilarious.
But it gets
Mike
me.
Mike Franklin enjoying Stellum Rye. I have a little sample of Stellum Rye that I tasted on a patron only live stream, and that stuff is really good.
Dude, I love to
Like,
sell them bourbon for
I
50
haven't had it
bucks.
yet. I haven't had it.
Cask strength, 50 bucks.
Yeah, the rye was killer. I mean, you could taste all the different parts in the rye, which I liked. I mean, I think barrel does ryes better than they do
Yeah.
bourbons, especially because when they start throwing Dickel in all their bourbons, it's like if you know that there's 10% of it in there, it doesn't matter that it's only 10. Your mind will let you taste that, you know?
I don't
So,
taste any minerality in their bourbon in the Stellum. It's all
really?
it tastes very MGP. Yeah,
Oh, that's
to
nice.
me.
Speaking of that, I rarely buy barrel, but I got a message about this private blend. It's called BX2I. And it's a fairly old blend. They give you the exact proportions in here. It's mostly over 10 years old, some of it up to 16. I got to say, it's pretty darn good, but it doesn't warrant $100 price tag for me. You know, it just, I don't know. It almost tastes like it's been aged in used cooperage. And I know it hasn't because they're calling it bourbon, but I don't know. It's just okay. I've never been thrilled by barrel though.
I really like the one I was talking about earlier. Anyway, but the Seagrass and the Armida were kind of weird to me. They were just, I mean, they were over finished to me, like we were talking about earlier.
Right.
But their single barrel or their regular stuff, their regular batches are supposed to be really good. I've never bought one because they're kind of expensive for what they are.
I know they are. Big Vic says, which are you looking for, Calumet 15 or Sam Houston 15? I'm looking for Sam Houston 15. I have a couple Calumet 15s. I got some backups of that. And Keith Schmidt, this is for you, Eric. Keith Schmidt asks, for bourbon drinkers, what wines do you recommend? He enjoys Napa Cabs, Cali Syrah, and whatever the hell that last one is. Is he missing something?
Morgon Beaujolais. So there's 10 primary regions in Beaujolais. So Morgon is in the northern part of Beaujolais. Actually, it's probably my favorite as well. Next to Fleury. Anyway, Beaujolais made from Gamay grape. So here's the thing. It's almost like asking, what's the best whiskey for people who like, Latin jazz? It's like, yeah.
I really like Malbecs. I really like Malbecs. So I mean, who knows?
Oh yeah, it's almost like apples and oranges. So, but your cabs, you're talking a lot of tannin, a lot of new oak. Typically, a lot of new oak, Syrah. You're talking some pepper notes. My favorite Syrahs are going to have a meaty note to them, so I prefer things from like Northern Rhone or Western Washington. Beaujolais, talking Gamay, talking something a little bit lighter, fruitier, almost going towards Pinot Noir like. These are these are all three very, very, very different wines. And then you're going to go, what wine for a bourbon drinker? Okay, so when I think bourbon, I think oak, heavy oak. You're talking vanilla, you're talking obviously some sort of caramel corn, whatever note, vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, whatever. It's got some rye, and then there you got a little bit of root beer or sarsaparilla or a little bit perhaps pepper and herb stuff. Now you try to convert that into wine. What you like in a whiskey might not necessarily be what you like in a wine.
Yeah,
it's not necessarily. Oh, if you like these profiles, then I'm going to try to convert you into this because this is like this. Not necessarily.
Well, I'll just add something real quick. It's like I'm guilty of this too. When I try to bring bourbon drinkers to Scotch, I use Glenfiddich 14. But honestly, I don't think that's the best way to go. I think actually, if you give them a spice tree or something similar to that, it's actually a better way into it because it has more of that spice and it's more varied in its profile.
Right.
I don't know.
So wines.
Well, and not everybody likes like the barrel aged wines either. The Copper and Thief or the Pappy one. I forget the name of it, but the vanilla aging or you know what I mean. You get that vanilla bomb on the end of a wine doesn't necessarily make it more bourbon like.
Yeah, I've probably tried about a dozen different bourbon cast finish wines. Copper and Thief, I thought was absolutely horrid. The Mondavi one is bad. I don't like any of them. I think they're pretty nasty. I just don't care for it at all. If you look at the price, they're typically $10. I think they're taking crappy wines and we're talking about earlier, where I think they're just covering it up with a bourbon cask. And I don't care for them.
Doesn't bring you any closer to bourbon.
No. So, but if you like a lot of vanilla, cinnamon, stuff like that, and those kind of spices, might try a California. I know. A barrel aged, barrel fermented Chardonnay. It didn't spend any time in a tank. It was fermented in a cask, barrel aged. So you're talking heavy dose of apple pie, cinnamon, nutmeg. Right. So baked apples, not fresh apples, but baked apples, a lot of vanilla, and they're going to be dark. There's one called, oh shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
Family show. No,
yeah.
Dude, this Rumble is good, by the way. Holy crap.
Moleil.
Oh, speaking of that Rumble, while Eric looks that up, I saw something in the chat here. I think it was from Carl. Yeah. He says Rumble's distilled from figs, honey, and turbinado sugar. So that's
It's stupid good.
different.
Yeah. So here's what we go with myrrh. Shoot. I don't know if I can show it to you. MERSOLEIL Chardonnay. It's from Monterey County's Santa Lucia Highlands. If I can show it to you, that's what it looks like, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Barrel aged, barrel fermented Chardonnay, Mole Soleil. I don't know how you freaking pronounce that. I don't know. A reserve. That's probably what I would recommend for someone from a bourbon profile. But that's a very, very, that's not a typical California Chardonnay. Anyway, so that's what I try. Mole Soleil. They do some weird experimentation with it. They do fermentation.
That's interesting too, because a lot of people would probably throw people towards a red wine. So
Yeah.
I mean, even though Chardonnay is kind of the heavier of the whites, that's kind of interesting that you went that way.
Well, that
but you know more about wine than either of us.
Well, that's a very, 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 very intense Chardonnay. That's not like a Chardonnay like anything else you can possibly. We're talking peach cobbler, apple pie, very, 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 very intense.
Yeah, it's not just straight butter.
No, you're not getting the butter. So it's not necessarily heavy malolactic fermentation or malolactic conversion. So it's not the buttery note like a Rombauer or something like that. It's just a heavily unique art. I know you're losing half your audience now. They're all signing off now that Eric's on there talking about wine. But like I say, have you guys had? This is a Redemption 9 barrel proof straight high rye bourbon. Have you guys had this?
No, I have not. I've been wanting to get some like cast strength Redemption stuff.
So I haven't had it for a while. You know, have you ever had an album when you bought it, you were like listening to it every day and you burnt yourself out on it? And then you go back to that album a year later and you turn it on and you're like, yes. And you forgot how much you loved that album. Mm-hmm. This whiskey's kind of like that. It's probably, maybe about a quarter left. I probably need to get it out of there. I'd say it's about right there. Mm-hmm. Just poured myself on ice. This is absolutely superb. I really, 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 really liked it. I think I just jizzed in my pants. This is just, I really, really enjoyed this one.
Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see. Let me check out the chat.
Apparently, I need one of those.
I know. Sign me up for that.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the cap. Attention, people! Whiskey bottles do not need corks. The cap came off of this one.
Oh, nice.
But thankfully, it didn't go in, and I can pull it out. But the cap popped off. I think originally it had wax on it too. I think. Hey, people! Whiskey bottles don't need freaking wax, so knock it off. The Knob Creek. That's the one thing I get with Knob Creek is that freaking wax crap.
The new ones are good. They fix their wax.
They put a pull tab like makers.
Well, I think there's a pull tab, but also the wax doesn't flake everywhere. You used to have to like run the vacuum after you open a damn bottle.
I actually opened my bottle of Knob Creek. I opened it in a live stream, and I had a knife. And man, the place was there was just wax all over the place. I'm just like cursing all the way through it.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Okay, so guys, in terms of the giveaway, we'll do the drawing. We'll cap all of the super chats at 9:45. We'll do the drawing at 9:50. Okay, just so everybody knows. So 10 more minutes of super chats to get that chatty port finish. I'm going to throw in a sample of ADHD Whiskey's blend, the NASA Family Reserve that he blended, and then I'll throw in a couple of other really awesome store pick samples. So that's the plan there. The KC wax is much improved, says Lone Wanderer, and Sugar Kitty was invented by dogs. Says the cat.
Hey, Cam, are you doing coins by any chance?
I haven't done any merch or anything yet. So
I just got this from
Slacking. Come on.
I just got this from Cliff. This is Bourbon Bites.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it's like a token.
Yeah, this is really, really, really cool. So it's similar. So I was the first one to do them in metal. This is before I had my beard. And Roy Aquavite did the design.
Oh, nice.
So this is the colors, is the Marine Corps colors, because I'm a former Marine. So I did the Marine Corps colors, but I was the first one doing metal. Everybody else was doing like poker chips. Came with this one, and then when I grew the beard, then I came up with this one. This is also
that's
metal.
cool.
And this one's larger. But I just got this from Clifford. Really, really nice and bright and shiny and stuff. So I think this, so I hear, I guess Bitcoin is going away and all these other weird
God, I hope
fake
not.
coinage away. So I think the next big thing is going to be whiskey tuber coinage, man. This is going to be the next next market. So you got to get yourself some
whiskey tuber NFTs. That's where
I've got some Bourbon Sane coins, man. I'm legit. I got some old school stuff.
Oh, really?
Keith said, so they made the Knob Creek wax better and made the whiskey worse. I'm still mad about what they did to the store picks and taking the old barrels away. Yeah, I am. I'm stocking up. Like right now, I'm in this big. Well, I got my tax return, right? So I was like, all right, let's blow some money. And so I've been stocking up on a lot of Elijah Craig barrel proof batches that I like, Knob Creek 15-year picks, and getting backups for all the bottles like Calumet 15 that might not last too much longer. Although, here's the deal. Calumet 14 is still on shelves like everywhere. And the 15 is oddly hanging around, not in Ohio. It's selling out here quick, but other states, it's just sitting. And I figured because it's so much better than the 14 that people would buy it up, but they're still not. I don't understand. But meanwhile, Bardstown Bourbon Company, you can't find anything.
There's no brand recognition.
I know. But Bardstown doesn't have brand recognition either, really. I mean, they do, but it's so new. You know what I mean? Yeah. Calumet's been around.
Whiskey nerds, we got it.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
So you were saying that I guess the most recent release of Elijah Craig barrel proof is at a lower proof. What's it at?
Like 118.
118.2.
They're usually 136.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, they're usually really high.
It's remarkably worse, and it's not a proof issue. It's like
this is 65. So even the profile. So how would you have you posted your review of it yet?
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. So since your review is already out and there's no spoilers, in general, how would you then describe it in short?
I just think it's. So here's my take on it is the actual profile of it is not bad. The flavors aren't bad that have come together. It's the drinking experience from front to back is what's bad. And so I think it's easier to objectively. The development from front to back on the palate. It's so disjunct. It doesn't make any sense. It starts to ramp up a little bit. It peters out. It comes back up and then it just dies.
So at this lower ABV, you think they've watered it back?
No, I mean, I don't think so.
Just naturally coming out at a lower proof?
Probably lower floors, I would think, right? For the barrels. And maybe they were trying something different. Maybe their stocks, they had to do this for some reason.
Well,
whatever the reason.
They've started a barrel program.
I know. Well, I thought about that too, but but those barrel program barrels are supposed to be like 9 and 10 years old.
Yeah, they're younger, but they're building stock for the younger barrel program.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
I don't know. It was weird.
But it is weird. But I think it's easier, Eric. Like you and I talked about, and you kind of enlightened me, and something that I have been talking a lot about now is the objectivity of this. Like it's not all subjective, and I think it's easier to evaluate this new Elijah Craig barrel proof and say, like, it's universally being said that it's not good, except for some people on the Bourbon Junkies group who want to be, I'm being general here, but people that want to be contrarians are fighting back against what everybody's saying. But I think it's easy to call this one out because it's like, it's not a flavor issue. It's just the fact that the actual development sucks.
Yeah, it's a structural issue.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not what you were expecting either. Like I deal in e-commerce sales, right? So part of my job is to set the expectation for the consumer on the front end, so I don't get a bunch of returns on the back end, right? So if you're setting expectations for Elijah Craig barrel proof, it's not that.
Right.
It's not this, unfortunately. We've already had expectations for the past, several years. This is what you're going to get when you buy this bottle. And the price has gone up. I mean, I paid $72 for that thing. In the past, it was like $60. So we kind of got cheated there
I think
as
even if
consumers.
Yeah, I think even if so people in the chat are saying this, and this is so Matt likes B521, all right, and Ryan says didn't Matt like B521? I mean, number one, yeah, we're all going to have different opinions, but I think I don't think anybody can deny that B521 is not what we've come to expect, like you're saying, Will. Like the brand has set an expectation, and everybody's okay with experimentation in different batches. I think we're all really expecting that from these different releases. But that bourbon to me just belongs under a different label if you're going to do that, and then you can keep experimenting in that way. But it was too far off the beaten path for me, and I love the nose on it. I actually really do. The first sip, when you sit down and have a first sip, having had no bourbon, and you taste it, it's really really good until you get to the finish and you go, wait, that was curious. You take one more sip and then it goes away. It's like,
I mean, it smells great. It smells great. That's good. Like you said, that first sip is fantastic, and then it just goes away. It's almost like Heaven Hill Bib Plus.
So how far down are you in the bottle?
They could literally put it out there, Heaven Hill Bib Plus. And
so how far down are you in the bottle? Have you tried putting it into glass and just let it sit there for a couple hours? Have you tried on ice? Have you tried in different ways and see if you get okay? You're pretty far down, Will.
Yeah.
And it make any difference?
I even put it in a cocktail today because I was like, I'll just try whatever to make it taste better.
So
and it's not bad. It's not bad.
Right.
It's not bad. It's just not what it should be.
So like Scotch Seminole, they call this the Wow. It's such an awesome bourbon. They call it the Wow whiskey,
Yeah.
And they're actually the ones that sort of turned me onto it. So the problem is, in terms of a whiskey guy, and people come to you and talk to you and ask you about whiskeys, for the average person, I can talk bourbon all day long. But I always go, but I know some guys who really know their bourbon. Check out these channels. Hey, check out, Mash and Drum. Check out y'all. These guys. So I don't have a catalog in my brain of every Elijah Craig barrel proof that's ever come on, because I'm not buying bottle after bottle after bottle. I've had this one. I've had one other one. And then I've tasted here and there when I've had the opportunity. And so when someone comes and talks to me, hey, what's a good quality price bourbon? By reputation and from my experience, I can go, if you see Elijah Craig barrel proof, buy it. But when something like this happens, that makes you go, put the brakes on and go, hey, now I can't give a blanket endorsement of Elijah Craig barrel proof. Yeah, but before, some were a little bit better, some a little maybe not as good, whatever, but generally you could still give a general endorsement of it. But when they have a winger like this, you kind of go, nah, I can't do that anymore.
I'm okay with a one. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Will.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm okay with him having a bad release here and a bad release there. That's going to happen. What I'm not okay with, and this again might just be me, but I think others felt the same way. A121 was more of a split thing. Like B521, a lot of people seem to not like it. A121, I didn't care for. I felt like it was a step down for the brand, but I thought that it didn't seem like egregious. But then B521 comes out and you go, what the hell? And the price jumped $10 in Ohio. Okay, what the hell is this? So if there's another release like this that's questionable and the price continues to go up and we have another case of Booker's, yeah, then Eric, I'm not. There's no way you can blanket endorse it where it stands now. Then we're going to be talking like we talk about Macallan, and we're going to say, oh, the late '90s, late 2000s, that was the time we should buy Macallan.
Right.
It's like I don't want ECBP to turn into that, but Booker's is already that.
And here's the funny thing. In terms of, sorry, go ahead, Will.
I was going to say we do have a new master distiller at Heaven Hill, right? So, obviously that's playing some part into this. I actually liked A121. It was really fruity to me. I like that. Of course, I've already said I really like, Stag Junior and stuff like that. So to my palate, I really enjoyed that. But this is not that.
Yeah.
So with a new master distiller that's come on in the past, 9 months or whatever, year.
Yeah, but
he's now picking all these things.
This stuff was laid down long before he became the master distiller, though.
Right.
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
if he's blending it,
Yeah, it's got to pass his smell test, right? So
Right.
I don't know.
All right, guys. I'm gonna get a couple more super chats real quick here. AM65, because I missed them, said, wish I could get Calumet around my neck of the woods. Hey, if you want a 15-year, I'll cost and ship that to you if I can find one. So just send me an email, because I don't have enough money to get another backup. They're 130. John, I think this is the last super chat. Yeah. I like the B520 so much, I'm going to sit out until they put out something reasonably close to that batch. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long you'll be waiting, depending on how the releases are going now, but I'm just buying up old batches because it's a safe bet. It's tried and true at this point. 60 Hertz
I'm in a store that still got some A120 or A119 or whatever it is.
Oh, do you have
A9?
How much?
Yeah.
I've been drinking some of that stuff recently, man. That's what I had last night, and I didn't realize how good that batch was until I started sipping it last night.
All the 19s were good. Even the B was freaking good.
And so that's phenomenal. That's what C919 is my favorite batch. 60 Hertz says that one was a lower proof. Dude, I'll drink that any day of the week, the B519. Any day.
It's good.
So, Ken, let me ask you a question. I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot here.
Yes.
So there are some whiskey tubers who should remain nameless.
Okay.
Their approach to doing their channel, and people can do the channel however it is they want. I don't really care. But they remind me, my grandmother used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So their approach to doing whiskey reviews. That's my. So there are two things I remember from my grandmother. That one, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And the other one is, if God wanted you to have tattoos, he'd made you a coloring book. So that's why I don't have any tattoos.
Grandmother. I think
my grandmother, my grandma, or Oma in German. So that's why I don't have any tattoos. So I review something. If I don't like it, hey, I paid for it. Nobody gave it to me. I'm going to give you my honest impression of this whiskey, and what I really, really think about it. Some whiskey tubers, they'll get a bottle and they'll go, okay, I don't like this one, therefore I'm not going to review it. So all you will ever see is positive reviews.
Yeah.
And if they don't like something, they will never review it, which I don't have any problem. That's better than someone not liking it and yet endorsing it because they want to get free bottles from the producer or something like that. I mean, that's really, really dishonest. So it's not dishonest to not review a whiskey because you don't like it, but my approach is son of a bitch, I'm really let down. Like Scorch, for example. I like Scorch, but there are a lot of things I didn't like that Ardbeg Scorch. And there are things that I did not like it as much as the Whiskey Crusaders. I don't like it as much as Bourbon Bites. I don't like it as much as a lot of other people. And I felt a little let down on some points on it. So what is your approach then? I mean, in your approach in doing whiskey reviews on this? This
is a very timely question, man, because I just got my first, and I was going to talk about it on the stream, and I forgot. I actually have my notes in front of me. I just got my first inquiry from a distillery asking me to come down and be their special guest and taste their products and do the whole bit. And they've said they want to collaborate with me, and they would love it if I'd put a video out, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm going to, before I respond to them, I have a meeting on Tuesday, like a Zoom meeting with them. And before we have that meeting, I'm going to be putting out probably a 5-minute video of me saying what I'm about to say now, which is that I am 100% okay with receiving media samples, bottles, whatever you want to send me. I won't take money. That's not it. But in my mind, I'm okay with receiving these things because if you go and watch my review of this last Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, I raked it over the freaking coal. I mean, I have no issue saying negative things about them. And look, some of them I'll put in context. If it's a new distillery and you say like, look, their stuff's 2 years old right now, it's probably going to get better. Context is key in all of these situations. But with the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof release, no context saved that release, in my view. And I'm going to say that. And so if the distillery, the very first thing I'm going to say to these people when I talk to them is, look, if I don't like your stuff, I'm not going to avoid saying that. I'm not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say exactly what I'm getting. And if that means I'm off of your PR list, I don't care. Right. I'm actually kind of excited about this because Ralphie says rightfully so, 99% of the time, that receiving samples or bottles is an unspoken contract.
Yep.
And in some ways it is.
It's like when you take a woman out and you buy her dinner, she knows you're expecting something.
Right. Sure. Right. But for this stuff, it's like, you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. And I want to kind of, because I see friends and colleagues in the Whiskey Tube community who have channels dancing around shit because they want to stay on these people's PR lists and they want to receive these things. And you know what? That is disingenuous through and through.
Yeah. There's no way in hell. No, I'm taking a deep breath. It actually, to the point, it'll piss me off. My reputation and what is more important than, because here's the thing is,
yes,
take like Whiskey Advocate, 1-page ad for one issue is probably 10 grand. Right? To get a 1-page ad on it, a minimum 10 grand. If they give you every bottle of their core range, that's a drop in the bucket in terms of exposure that they're going to, it's nothing in comparison to the exposure they're going to get on your channel, particularly if you got 10,000 subscribers and up. And so to me, I'm like, if I'm not going to whore myself out, I'm not going to be a cheap date. And I'm not gonna do it. And for me, the growth of the channel, of my channel, doesn't mean that much. It's what I want to do, what I'm interested in, and what my channel's about, which is why it's a little geekier, it's a little nerdier, and whatever else. But it's a resume. For me, it's a resume. If someone says, okay, look, Eric's got all this education, he's got all this experience. Okay, here's part of a resume. Look at me in terms of my communication skills. That says more that's more important to me than some numbers at the bottom of how many subscribers you got, how many thumbs you got, and all that bullshit. I care more about that than anything else, which is why I really want to be as honest as I can, as upright as I can, but also realizing I'm also free to critique myself and change my mind about things as well, you know. But that's more important than anything else. And for another person, fellow whiskey tuber, I have more respect for someone who's willing to just call it like it is, and be honest about it, knowing that they're not going to be in love. People aren't going to come to say, "Hey, we want you to be our rep," you know. At the end of it. So
let me grab a few things here.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry, Will. Again, let me grab the super chat real quick. Orif Screw, thank you for the $20 super chat. Very formative stream. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. This stream was a lot of fun, and good issues coming up here, which I really like. And Will's going to go on here, but then we'll do the giveaway and wrap things up in the next 10 minutes. We'll try.
Well, I was going to say, like, I don't have a YouTube channel. I have an Instagram that's pretty small. But anyway, so if you are given bottles and don't like them and turn them down, right? Is that the same as not reviewing them negatively? You know what I mean? Like like if you buy a bottle and it's bad, if you bought it and it's bad, like B520 or whatever, B521, if you buy it and it's bad, you're like, yeah, that sucks, and I bought it, and I can say whatever I want to about it. But if you're given a bottle and you're like, no, this isn't good, I will choose not to. I will choose not to review it. Is that the same thing?
I don't know.
Because there's a lot of that. I mean, I've talked to other YouTube channels, like well, I'm not gonna say other YouTube channels.
No names.
I've talked to other guys that have been like, yeah, this guy sent me this and it's not good, so I'm just gonna not do it.
Right.
Instead of putting a completely negative review out there, is it better to put a negative review out there?
It's a case for me. It's a case by case situation, like, because If it's a big distillery like a Heaven Hill, or
Right.
the distillery that reached out to me is a mid-sized distillery, and honestly, I've got to say, Adriana, thank you for saying this. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to get a contact like that at 1,500 subscribers, to be frank with everybody, and that's great. And I was like, oh wow, it's really exciting. And then I realized like this opens a can of worms for me that I didn't think I was going to have to address for a while. But for a really small distillery that's starting out, or maybe they've been around for 6 or 7 years, but they're still getting their footing. We have some of those here in Columbus. Again, context is key, and I wouldn't want to shit all over them before we really realize what the potential of the distillery is. For instance, I'll just say it: High Bank Distillery here in Columbus. I have hated every product they've ever come out with. Suddenly, they win a double gold at San Francisco, and I go, what the hell? Best blended whiskey, really? And I buy it, and it's because for that competition, they actually gave them this new batch that's 4 years old instead of 2+. I tasted it, and I was like, oh, this is a fundamentally different product, and it's actually good. No, I was I was shocked about this. So then it's like, well, if I would have made a review knocking all of their products, that wouldn't have been fair. So everything's with a grain of salt, and you have to be careful. But if it's a big company like Heaven Hill, we should be ruthlessly honest with them. We should, because they're huge. And Keith says this. I'm sorry, I'm tirading here. Easiest way to fix it is to not take samples. Yes, that's the easy way out. But I think the better way to start producing a more honest approach to this in the community is I want to take samples and then show that I'm willing to say the truth about them. For instance, people send me samples of $300-$400 bottles, and I do quick sips episodes of them. And sometimes I'll say, I didn't like this, and I'm sorry that you sent me this sample and I don't like it, but I'm glad I had the chance to try it. That's my answer.
Right.
You know, that's my practice for these distilleries. So.
Dude, I've gotten samples of freaking cigar blend, and now I want one like bad. So
I love the Joe Maga cigar blend. Man, that's the bomb. So like metals, if you understand how contests go, the metals and whatever else, and I've known a couple of people who have been San Francisco Wine Awards, the San Francisco Chronicle, whatever, both in wine and whiskey. I don't pay them any credence. Just the way in which the tasting. After a while, everything's good. Particularly when you're talking about whiskeys. And so I think a lot of the evaluations are made by people whose senses are impaired by the time they got to that one.
That's probably
it doesn't matter how much you're spitting at that point, right?
Yeah.
If you've had 100 whiskeys in a day or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, guys, I'm gonna do this drawing, and then we're gonna jump off here. So Adriana tells me that we have 1 through 30 for the list. So let me have Siri pick 1 through 30 and see who wins this bottle of Chatty Port Cask, and then a bunch of well, not a bunch. I'll probably be able to send like 3 or 4 samples with it in the box. So here we go. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 30.
A random number between 1 and 30 is 24.
All right, number 24 is the winner of tonight's giveaway. Adriana, who do we have 24? And whoever that is, please send me an email, drumsanddrams@gmail.com, with your information, your shipping address. I'll get that out to you on Tuesday after the holiday. So there we go. Okay, let's see. A couple more comments about this. Cam, tell him, are you willing to take my criticism? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I'm going to make a disclaimer video kind of about my approach to whiskey reviews, and then I'm going to give them the spiel when I talk to them all. So, yeah, Keith, that's one of those bottles that's worth the price tag, huh? All right, Adriana, let us know who is number 24.
I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? So,
yeah, I mean, it's a cool issue. I didn't think I was going to be dealing with it yet, but I mean, heck, I'll take it. The problem is the company that reached out to me, I haven't heard a lot of good things about their stuff. So that's another reason why I'm like, this might be right off the bat like an issue, you know? So anyways, Aura Screw, winner of the giveaway. So send me an email, drumsanddrams@gmail.com. I'll get you that Chatty Port Cask finish for that $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate you being on here, jumping on.
No, thanks for having me on, man.
Made the night a lot more fun. it's so nice to be able to talk to other humans instead of just a screen.
I felt like we got in depth into some like issues tonight. So
I know.
it was fun.
A little therapy little vent session for me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. So Eric, what do you have coming up, man?
So all the way through July, I'm doing a series on sherry and sherry cask finish whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
So teaching about sherry and then what is the impact that those casks have on the whiskeys. Just finished doing a few videos on Fino sherry, Manzanilla, and I'll be transitioning over. This is the Bunnahabhain Manzanilla. The video review of this will be posted tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Then I'll be doing a couple on Amontillado, and then Oloroso, which is the most common sherry, and then Pelo Cantado, which is very, 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 very rare, only about 2% of sherries, and then finish it up with Pedro Jimenez. And that'll take us through July. Really enjoying. I taught a class on this actually at the whiskey marketing school down there in Texas. So I'm sort of doing a version of that on my channel, and really, really, really enjoy. Even if nobody else watches it, I'm enjoying it a lot, man.
Yeah,
that's the most important thing.
Hey guys, I want to make sure that the giveaway winner or screw. I want to make sure that they know that. Got to contact me. So if anybody has I'm not sure if they're in the chat still. Let me check the chat. Let me see if I can tag them. Okay. Send me an email, please. I want to make sure before we sign off. Okay. Check my email one last time. All right, guys. Well, let's bounce out of here. Thank you for hanging out. I think Cheech Ardolino is live. Can anybody confirm that? Do you know, Will, if he's live by chance at Whiskey Encore?
Yeah, it should be.
I think it's Whiskey Encore is live right now, live from Lord Schlong's estate.
Good old Shenanigans.
Oh man, I love it.
Hey,
Lord Schlong.
This is so good, by the way.
It's good, man. It's totally different. It's very like green and bright, but not in a bad way, No,
it's good for $40 or $40. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, so great job to Matt on that blend. All right, guys, we're gonna sign off. Thank you all.
All right,
Thanks,
cheers,
Eric.
man.
Thanks, Hendo. Cheers to all of you. We are out of here.